Make that call at 478 471 0774. Make that call 478 471 0774. Cranford Chiropractic. Cranford Chiropractic. Lining you up one patient at a
A
time.
lot of things have changed over the past 50 years. A lot of things
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM.
Perry.
Macon. Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM.
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
And we'll have in the chat. People will be
Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine.
you want us to be part of it. Ah, we are live. Our engineer is saying to us, y'all shut up and listen. If you want everybody to hear what you're saying, just keep on talking, but if not, oh, welcome. Welcome to Ask Elaine. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to the show. You know that we are happy to have you there. We really are. Because you have important things to do, and we just feel really honored that you take an hour each week and join us on Wednesdays from 3 to 4. Because we're going to have something to say. We're going to be real. And we hope that there will be something beneficial that you can take and use that will help to empower you to be a better citizen, to take advantage of all of the rights and privileges that you're entitled to. So, welcome once again to Ask Elaine. And we would just jump into the Ask Elaine theme. And I want to remind everybody that my son Lenny, who's very musically talented, composed that song, and his wife Shanitra, who is a wonderful vocalist, does the melody, the words. She sings. She sings.
Okay.
Well, you get tired. Sometimes just get so excited trying to get it all in. We want to welcome you. If you've tuned in 980 AM, welcome. If you've tuned in 107.9 FM, welcome. If you've joined us on the Glory Facebook Live, welcome. You get to see us, and we get to see the comments that you leave for us, and we love to acknowledge the folks who join us on Facebook Live, and we want to go ahead and welcome Susan Smith, Overseer Mabel Randall. And she's thanking us for the sample ballots. We were on a mission, guys. Sunday, the senator was driving and I was riding shotgun. Is that what you call it? Shotgun.
Right.
And I was jumping out and delivering sample ballots. My sister Nita delivered to like 10 different churches. And then we had Sherry Shannon Miller, who was also delivering. And so we covered a bunch of churches, and people were very, very happy to have those sample ballots so that they could then look at the candidates who were running and who would be on their ballot. And then you simply take it with you when you go to vote, like I did. Today, it was just like 1, 2, 3. I voted at the Senior Citizen Center down in Carolyn Creighton Park, which used to be Central City Park, but it's Carolyn Creighton Park. Now, I went and voted at the Senior Citizen Center. You know that you can also vote at the main office, the Board of Elections on Pinon Avenue, or on the north side, out Riverside, you can vote at the Theranossery Recreation Center. So for the next this week and then the next 2 weeks, the next 2 Saturdays and a Sunday, you will be able to vote early.
I certainly
So
encourage
you
people
got
to vote
yeah,
early.
Please get
yeah,
out and vote.
yeah,
Vote. It is very, very important. Our
yeah.
lives are depending on
Oh,
this.
listen, let me go ahead and introduce these two gentlemen because I know they're ready. They're already
Yeah.
talking, and that's great. Sometimes you have to pull
Yeah.
stuff out. Say this, say something. First of all, we have someone returning who was here a few weeks ago. We did not get all the information that we needed to get on literacy and the new Mayor's Literacy Alliance. And that's none other than Mr. Jim Montgomery, who is a retiree from the Bibb school system, an administrator, was teacher, administrator, assistant, all of that. Worked with our children for a number of years. And then he retired, but then he's back and he is the executive director of the Mayor's Make and Bibb Literacy Alliance. And we're going to be talking to him about that whole issue of literacy and um, what not having literate citizens means for a community and how it's impacted when you have citizens who are more literate. It just raises all the boats. Right. So we're going to talk with him about that. We also have another special guest that we've been trying to get on here because he's such a role model. Both of these gentlemen are role models for our folks in our community, and we're very proud of them. None other than Mr. Dio Oliver, who is the owner and founder of Quick Kill. Now, pest control. We all from time to time have a need to take care of some little critters in our residence. It's just a fact of life. And they'll drive you nuts if you don't now. I'm here to tell you. So you want to do that, but there are not that many black owned. How many? How many pest control, black owned pest control?
Other black
So
owned
Quick Kill,
but on
and
the
then
loans.
one other. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's been in business for a while. It's a very successful business, I might add. So we've been trying to get him on the show. And what we want to do is to learn all about how he got started, what he does in that business, what services he can provide. But we also want to encourage those of you who are looking for a business that has opportunities, great opportunities for especially minority owners because the field is just wide open. It's wide open. And so we want to have him to share that information with you and then have you in the chat. You may add questions or comments. You can also call us. Oh, yeah, please like and share this, and then call up your friends and let them know that Ask Elaine is on the air. And every minute that you hesitate getting on, you're missing some important stuff. We've got a great show today. Let's go ahead and finish acknowledging the folks who have tuned in. We have Sharon Talton on with us, Steve Bryant, who is a native Maconite who grew up in the Pleasant Hill area but lives in Virginia now. And he is with us. He tunes in every week. Maria Bryant, who is just Miss Voter Registration and Get Out the Vote, works with the NAACP. And she says, good afternoon. The Macon Bibb NAACP will have the 50th annual Earl T. Shinholster Virtual Awards. That will be this Saturday, October 22nd at 6 p.m. On Facebook on Macon Bibb NAACP branch. Um, and also, there will be a few people, I think, who will be there in person, and it's going to be held at Greater Zion Hill. Tickets are $45, which includes dinner from the Bears Den and dinner and dessert. Dr. Dan Sims, our new superintendent, who is just fantastic. He's
Great guy.
phenomenal. I don't know where he's getting that energy. I gotta
got it.
find out. But everywhere I go, and I go a lot of places to a lot of events, but he's at every one of them. So anyway, that's a good thing. He's meeting this community and he's finding out what we want to have done as far as education, because he can't do it himself. But Dr. Sims is going to be the speaker. I understand he's a minister. And he certainly is well qualified. I believe his vote to confirm him was overwhelming, 6-2 vote. And those two didn't vote for him. I think they've had a change of heart. Every time I see them, it looks like to me they're trying to say, "I'm so sorry. I wish I have, but next time, I'm going to do right." Anyway, he's phenomenal. We're just so glad. Pastor Lisa Watson has joined us. She is just a phenomenal person, and she calls him Super Dan because he's been all over to all kinds of events. And we want to welcome all of you who have joined us. Now, we're going to talk about voting for just a little bit because it's so important. Early voting has started. It started on Monday. You can vote early at either one of the three sites. There are senators out there. He's transporting people to the polls. So if you want to call the senator, he'll come and pick you up. Or you can call our office at EL High School Academy, and we'll be glad to provide you a ride. Sample ballots. We'll provide sample ballots for your church. Any questions that you might have, we will be glad to provide those. If there is a problem, if you experience any kind of problem with the voting process, would you please call us, because we are connected to voter protection and we intend to protect your right to vote. But you've got to protect your right yourself. You got to do something yourself. So we want you to call. If you see something happening, to somebody else, then you please make contact with us, and we will then put you in contact with the folks who can help you to protect your right to vote. Dr. Mary Butler says hello to all of us. She's on board, as she is on most Wednesdays. We're just so happy to have these people who tune in each week and who share with this community. Now we're going to go to our first special guest, who is Mr. Dio Oliver. He's the owner of Quick Kill. You want to just give us a rundown, give us a little bit about yourself, and Mr. Montgomery and I are going to be we're going to be the questioners.
Okay,
We're
come
going to be
on.
the panel.
Come on.
Like the panelists did with Herschel and
Oh my God.
Herschel. Herschel. Mr. Prop, Mr. Badge. Anyway, and Reverend Dr. Warnock. But anyway, you want to just share with us a little bit about yourself, and then how you came to set up to start Quick Kill, and tell us about some of the other things that you're doing. And you feel free to join on in.
Right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Elaine. First of all, I got to say this. I appreciate, and we appreciate everything you do, have done, and will do. You have been an advocate for this community. You don't back down. You stand up for people, and you're for the disenfranchised. And I personally, I'm looking you in your eyes, telling you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all you have done. I personally, I've benefited from what you've done, as well as a lot of people I know. And I believe in giving people flowers while
That
they're
is
here.
so nice. I'm
Okay.
blushing,
And
y'all.
she had
See, Brown
she
does blush.
she she knows that I know her mom. I knew her mom,
Mm-hmm.
her sister.
Mm-hmm.
She's always been there for people. And what I love about her, what you see is what you get now.
That's it.
It's no such thing as a mask. That the kids had this song called "Mask On, Mask Off" with Miss Elaine. You don't get a mask. You get the genuine, caring person that she really is, and she's always got that smile on her face, and she's always doing everything to help people. So personally, I want to say
Senator
thank
might
you.
disagree.
I'll have to
He
concur
might-
with you.
Yeah.
I have to concur because
Hey,
today,
brother's like, oh, well, you know
Yeah.
the same one.
today I mentioned to someone that I was actually going to be on the show with
Mhm.
her, and
Uh-huh.
I can't tell you the number of accolades that they shared about her.
Um,
And one thing that they said that really resonated with me was the fact that she was a community servant.
Yes.
And said that if you've ever seen a community servant at his or her best, you can see that in Elaine Lucas.
That's
So
That's right.
Yeah.
She's
y'all are
it's
so
for-
kind, but y'all didn't send me to represent you just to sit up there.
right.
You didn't send
Right.
me just, to see me during election time. You sent, I think that's what you intended
right,
for me
that's
to
right.
do, to
Come
go
on
and
with it.
represent you.
That's right.
And that's
That's
what I've tried to do. And I'm going to continue to do it for as long as I'm there. And I don't plan to ever, I think people waste their time when they go home and they just sit down.
Mhm,
There's
mhm.
no such thing as just going sitting somewhere. There's always something to do.
I had to learn that after a year of
Uh-huh.
retirement.
You can't stand. You can't
Say that
stand
retirement
for
there.
so long. Hey, okay, we're gonna let you go
Okay,
ahead and finish,
okay.
but I appreciate.
But
you
I want to
saying
tell you that I
Thank
want
you.
to tell you that to your face.
Thank you very
I
much.
just don't think. I think people love to harbor on anything a person did negative, but they don't want to tell
Yeah.
all the positive.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I'm one of those type people. I just always see the glass half full.
Mm.
And you have done so much. I appreciate you. I'm always gonna support you. I mean, I'm telling you, that I'm always gonna support you,
Thank you.
and
Thank
I got your back.
Oh,
So-
I appreciate that. I need that from time to time because these
Yeah.
folks have daggers
That-
out
oh
here.
my God!
They have daggers out here. But I've
weapon.
never.
That's right.
No weapon.
That's right.
That's right. I don't get afraid because I know that there are people who know what I'm trying to do
That's right.
and who are there, who have my back.
That's right.
And it's always been that way. And that's why I could stand,
right.
when done all you can.
That's right.
Just
You can stand.
I'm
That's
gonna
right.
stand. So,
Amen.
anyway,
Okay.
we're talking about you. Thank you.
Oh, okay. My name is D.O. Oliver. I own Quick Kill Pets. I own a bunch of things, but what pays my bills mostly is
Uh-huh.
Quick Kill Pet Services. We've been in business for about 28 years.
Oh,
Wow.
my.
Here in Macon, Atlanta, we also service Savannah. So the
Uh-huh.
entire middle
Uh-huh.
area here.
Yeah, where Savannah meets the sea.
Well, Savannah
My
meets
school.
the sea. Oh my
Where
God,
grass
Savannah
and
State. I
plains
forgot.
and palms abound. Where the
Yes.
flowers are gems
Uh-oh.
of loveliness. There SSC is found. Yeah,
Go on
go
with
on.
it.
Go ahead.
Yes, man. So, and what we provide, we provide pest control services as far as moisture barriers, ants, roaches, spiders, crickets, fleas, mice, rats, centipedes, millipedes, scorpions, peel bugs. Okay.
Okay.
So if it's a pest, if it's pesting you, if it's bothering you, we always say, if you don't want bugs anymore, call 978-5000.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
So yeah, and it's been an honor working here in Macon and working with people here in Macon. And Macon is a great city. I love Macon. I'm from Macon. This is my home, and I'm going to do everything I can do to support and help Macon. The business part is fine, and that's how I pay
Tell
my
us
bills.
how you got started with that. How'd you decide pest control?
Well, I had served in the United States Marines.
Okay.
Thank you
Came
for
home.
your service.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Came home, didn't have a job.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And if you would have told me, Elaine, that I would be working in pest control, I would have said you are crazy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but God has a plan.
Uh-huh.
And thank God for God. I always say this, thank God for God.
Yeah.
Okay, but so I end up working at the Bibb County Alternative School. I was teaching. And it's a funny story. It's a real funny story. Our custodian always had money, and the teachers were always borrowing money from him. And that just didn't sit well. You know what I'm saying? Why are teachers borrowing money from the custodian? You get what I'm saying? And found out that what he was doing, he was spraying houses on the side.
Oh,
And
okay.
he always had a pocket full of money. And so,
Because plenty of buzz.
that's right. And we teachers only got paid once a month.
Tell us
That month get real
That's
long, don't
right.
it?
It sure does.
That month gets really long. So I started talking to him, and I had already gone to school, University of South Carolina, for marketing. I had already gone to school, and I found out to own a pest control company, which I wanted to do it right. You had to work for a company for 2 years, or you had to get a biology degree. Science just really ain't my thing. So I ended up going to work for one of the major pest control companies. I love teaching, though. That was probably one of the hardest things I've done, to walk away from teaching.
Yeah.
There's something about helping those kids and to see them come from one mindset
Yeah.
to go to a learned mindset and disciplined mindset.
Yeah.
That it was just hard to leave. But the money kind of, I had bills.
Oh, we know exactly what you're talking about.
There's a thing called bills out there, and
yeah.
that just wasn't paying. So,
And it's only been recently that there's been a push to increase the salaries.
That's right.
And a little here and there. And teacher salaries are still not where they need to be. We pay some folks that aren't in the same category as the importance of teachers. We pay some folks a whole lot more.
That's right.
Than teachers. But anyway,
if you think about it, there's a shortage now of teachers,
yeah.
particularly in Georgia. And so look what the governor has done with respect to allowing those who have retired to come back into the classroom. So it just shows you the importance of having those teachers and how we need to do what we need to do in order to retain those teachers.
Hey,
So
they're begging teachers to come back.
That's
They're
right.
begging broke down police
Police
officers. Broke down teachers and broke down police officers. They're begging in these different.
That's right.
They're begging.
Yeah,
whomever.
teaching to me is probably one of the most important jobs in the
It
world.
is. It is.
And I think they should be compensated for it.
Yeah.
I really do.
I agree.
I really do. I think
We
they should be compensated.
definitely agree.
Yeah, I really do.
I agree.
So after leaving teaching, I went to work for a major pest control company. Worked for there for almost 3 years. And my plan was to actually become an entrepreneur. And I preach and teach and talk to people all the time about the importance of entrepreneurship. So, and I encourage a lot of anybody that I call it's two different type people. I call them clock ins, and then I call them entrepreneurs. Some people need to clock in.
Yeah.
Some people need, because being an entrepreneur, you get some sleepless nights sometimes.
Yeah.
When I was a clock in, I knew my check was coming in on Friday. As an entrepreneur, I don't know if a check is coming in on Friday, because every single day I have to work and get a contract or meet a new customer or something so that I will have a check coming in.
Yeah.
I've had, and just being, I'm a transparent person.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you're going to ever have me back on this radio, but I'm just transparent. I've had times where I only made $75 for the month, but then I've had times where I made $10,000 in a week. Okay, so we call it feast and famine. Okay, don't get too high. I'm gonna say it like this. I know this is not politically correct, but ain't no Bentley outside. Okay, there's around 4 out there right now. Okay, so you can't, just because you had a great week or month,
spend it all up.
Can't spend it all up. You don't ball out, as the kids say, because you don't know where your next one is coming. You can't be lazy and a business person at the same time.
Uh-huh.
That just don't
Right.
go together.
Yeah.
That's right.
I can be lazy sometimes at work when I'm clocking in. Some days I may not feel like doing much. You get what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Right.
But when as an entrepreneur, I
When it's
can't
your
Right.
bottom line,
your
all
bottom
your
line.
bottom
Okay.
line. Yeah.
Yeah. So but I do encourage people, that want to become entrepreneurs. We started a group called Six Figures. We're having
Okay.
Six Figures is for business professionals.
Uh-huh.
We're having a networking meeting tomorrow. I'm inviting you guys to it right now
Mhm.
at Marie's
Mhm.
from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And what it is just a net mingling event where business professionals and entrepreneurs get together and exchange cards and exchange knowledge.
Mhm.
So
That's
That's
awesome.
wonderful.
Mhm.
We want to
Awesome.
welcome Randy Crawford to Ask Elaine. We want to welcome all of you who've tuned in. For those who just tuned in, you are listening to or watching and listening Ask Elaine. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, with two very, very special guests, Mr. Jim Montgomery, who's going to talk about literacy today. And we also have Mr. Dio Oliver, who is an entrepreneur, and he's the founder and the owner of Quick Kill Pest Control. And I want to talk just a minute about your donation to Macon Bibb. Some time ago, most of you will recall there were drownings from time to time. There are drownings that take place in our community, and it's always unfortunate. Tell us what you did.
a little backstory. What I did was I donated some life vests to Macon Bibb to help combat drowning.
Mhm.
I saw that there was a need, and people listening, if you have the means and you do not use your means, it's a waste.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay,
Mhm.
if you can help, help. That's my motto.
Mhm.
That's the way I am.
And you will prosper.
Right, and you
Anything that you
Anything.
do for somebody, if it's
Right.
done from here, y'all see my I voted
Mhm,
sticker,
mhm.
don't you? I want to
That's it.
remind you of
Mhm.
that. My voting. Anyway, if you do something from your heart, it comes back to you, and then you all of a sudden get something, and you just say, "Oh, that's
It's
that
that
happened." But it's got to be from your heart.
it's
It can't
gotta
be
be from
something
your heart.
that you're doing because you want. Oh, look at me! Look at me!
Right.
It's
Right.
got to
Right.
be. It's got to be legit. It's
gotta
got to be honest. It's got to be sincere. Randy Crawford says he voted today. Thank you,
All right, Randy.
Randy. That's
Let's
my
go,
neighbor.
Randy.
Yeah, yeah. All those who have voted already, if you'll put it in the chat that you've already voted, and if you'll place on Facebook, take a picture of you with your sticker on, if you still have it. Pastor Lisa says, please vote, vote, vote. Take a picture and post your picture, the picture of you with your I voted sticker. I've secured my vote. I think that's what
Yeah,
it
that's
says
awesome.
this
Mhm.
time. And just remind people, you'd be surprised what influence you can have
That's right.
over people. Now, tell us your philosophy of voting.
It's in my opinion, and I'm only talking about me. It is disrespectful not to vote. I'm gonna say it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Given the history that
given
surrounds.
say it,
Uh-huh.
bro.
It
Go
is.
on. I'm gonna let you
Uh-huh.
finish it. Say it, bro.
No, I concur with you wholeheartedly. Given the history surrounding voting and all of the struggles that were in place in order for us to have the right to vote, I think it's our civic duty to do so. And we were talking about literacy. Hopefully, I'll get an opportunity to mention, civic and ethical literacy is one of the reasons why we have individuals who
Uh-huh.
don't vote. They're
That
not
is why we're
informed.
gonna make this
That-
That's
transition
right. That's
right
right. Go on.
here, right here. Yeah, this Dio Oliver is an entrepreneur. He's someone to be emulated. He's someone whose story we wanted you to hear. We wanted him to tell you, as a successful businessman, what he did and what he believes. And yeah, you are going to be a guest on again if you will
I
come
love
on.
it.
And we're going to talk about successfully setting up a business and the hard work that it takes. You don't just set it up and then think everything's
That's
just
right.
going to roll in.
Oh, ma'am.
You have to be prepared for about a year before anything really happens
Yes, ma'am.
for you. So you got to be prepared financially. And then a lot of businesses fail that first year because you're not prepared. But you got to be you got to make plans to work hard. So you are our spotlight business for this week.
Awesome.
We
Thank you.
salute you.
Congratulations.
We
Yeah.
I
thank
received
you
it.
for
Yes.
what you do for this community. And on behalf of Make 'em Bib, we want to thank you again for your donation of the life vest, because they will truly save lives. That's faith being put into action,
ma'am.
y'all. Y'all know,
Right.
I
Right.
believe faith without works is
Is
just
dead.
as dead as
Absolutely.
anything. And I know I missed that verse. I always miss
No, that's
these
right.
verses up. But anyway, I know what they
Yeah,
mean.
that's right.
Faith without works is dead. And so you can talk all day long, but until you do something, you maybe you believe it, but other folks need to see it. So now we turn to, and we become the questioners.
Great.
Well, I have a
This
quick question
gentleman.
though before you do
Go
that,
ahead. Go ahead.
because I know you must have faced all kind of obstacles and struggles along, especially when you first started. If you could give some advice to someone who's up and coming now, for example, I have a godson who just started his own business, and it's funny because he tell me, he says, "Pop, I have to pay myself every week because that's how he maintains and make sure that he does not overspend." He says, "I pay myself just like I'm an employee, and I put the rest away for." So if you had to give some advice to up and coming entrepreneur, what would you say to help them persevere?
Two things. One, if you're going to start a business, make sure there's a need for that business. Don't open a Bentley dealership in Macon, Georgia. We don't see too many Bentleys here.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And two, become educated. Make sure that you become an authority on whatever business you're doing.
Do that research.
Yeah, do that research. That's my advice.
Wonderful.
Okay.
That's
great
wonderful.
advice, and he's met 2 of 2, so I got to go
Good,
home and tell
good.
him.
Okay, Mr. Montgomery.
Well, I certainly am happy to have the opportunity to come back again to talk about the great work of the Making Mayor's Literacy Alliance, and I thank you for doing it. When I was talking with the individual earlier today, and they were telling me what a community servant you were, I looked in the mirror and I said, "Oh, I guess in this role as executive director, I'm now a community servant."
Yeah.
So I was excited about that. But the Making Mayor's Literacy Alliance is an organization, and I want people to understand that it's not a program. It's certainly not a program here to replace other programs, but it's an organization that's designed to be a network for organizations that are here. So when we talk about literacy, there's so many aspects of literacy, and most of the time people think about foundational literacy, which is early literacy. I think I mentioned this last time we were here. Early literacy is something that you certainly can't do without, because you have to have that foundation.
What would be a very simple definition of literacy, and then tell us a little bit about how it got started? Just a brief history
about the history of the alliance. Okay. So literacy, in itself is just becoming informed as it relates to reading, talking, conversing, writing. To be real simple and put it in layman's terms, but it extends beyond that, because you have so many other forms of literacy in which you have to be able to read, write, and speak in order to be successful with them. We were talking about voting. Civic and ethical literacy.
That's right.
You have a civic responsibility to the city in which or county in which you live, and the only way that you can actually take and be responsible is the fact that you're informed. And unless you can read and write and speak and become informed, you won't know what to do. It makes my skin crawl when I hear people say my vote doesn't count.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It does,
Yeah.
and the first thing that comes to my mind is it doesn't count because you're not informed.
Right.
You,
You don't know.
I hope I can make you
that-
become more literate as to
Yeah.
how your
Your
vote
vote
does
counts.
count.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the need for the Literacy Alliance is definitely here.
Yes.
The Making Bibb Mayor's Literacy Alliance, is a partnership between the Bibb County Board of Education, Central Georgia Technical College, and the Macon Bibb government.
Okay.
So it was actually conceived by Dr. Wanda West,
Dr.
who is
West.
I
a
remember Dr.
phenomenal.
West,
I think
yeah.
everybody in the world knows Dr.
Yeah,
West.
wonderful.
She's an
wonderful.
incredibly strong
She
woman
is.
with
She
with
is.
so many contributions that she has made. But she and Miss Brenda Brown, who's the vice president for adult education at Central Georgia Tech, we're having the conversation about reaching out into the community and really addressing the needs. And at the time, it was from an adult ed standpoint,
Mhm.
because all too often we place all of our emphasis on the children, which is important because you heard the old saying, "I believe the children
Yeah.
are our
Right,
future,"
right. Okay.
and that is so
Okay.
true.
Yeah, that is.
He's a performer too,
Yeah, I see.
y'all.
And can
So
sing,
he'll
too.
break out into a song. I've known him for a long time, and I've heard him
Say
sing.
he'll start.
It's all right.
I just get so excited.
Dance,
That's all right.
whatever. He's
That's all
quite
right.
quite talented.
Yeah, okay.
I get really excited when I have the opportunity to talk about this. But they were talking about reaching out into the community. So they came up with the idea of the alliance.
Mhm.
And then they approached the mayor with it.
Mhm.
Told him a little bit about it. Obviously, she enlisted some other individuals to be a
Mhm.
part of that initial team.
Okay.
Then. Uh, of course, the mayor thought
Mhm.
the idea was a great one, and
Right.
so he took it before the commission,
Mhm.
and then it was born.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was
And
voted
so-
on unanimously.
Oh,
Yeah,
unanimous.
Approved
Wow.
unanimously.
Mhm.
Great.
And so the idea is to create a Making Bibb literacy network that's designed to increase the graduation rate
Mhm.
and, of course, lower the dropout rate, to really place emphasis on adult illiteracy here in Macon. We're hoping to reduce the dropout rate by over 50% over a period of 10 years, which is extremely doable.
Yeah.
I think in doing so, we're going to impact the quality of education in this community. We're going to impact the community growth, as well as
Crime.
the crime,
Oh yeah.
the quality
Oh,
of
yeah.
life for citizens in Macon Bibb.
Yeah.
And that's so important because poverty, it's illiteracy and poverty are
Yeah.
synonymous.
Yeah.
Um,
And the
They are.
more a person knows, the
Mhm.
better they feel about
Right.
themselves,
right,
the more they're
Right.
able to accomplish,
that's right.
and they want to do for themselves.
The least likely
And
they would
so
end up in jail.
That connection to crime
Right.
and poverty and all of that is
Right.
just so strong.
It is extremely strong.
It's so strong.
If one wants to improve their quality of life, they have got to become literate.
You got
I mean,
to.
there's just no
Mhm.
way
Yeah.
around
There's
it.
no way around.
But the alliance is going to function, or where we're currently from. We're so excited. We started in April. I was named the executive director in April, and so when I say we started from,
Congratulations.
thank you,
Okay.
Mhm.
from ground zero. So I've had the opportunity to grow with the organization as
Uh-huh.
we are building it. We had a huge celebration last month.
Yeah.
We had a luncheon for September was Adult Education and Family
Very
Literacy
nice.
Month.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we concluded the celebration to the month. And we want to thank all of our partners for the incredible job that they did being a part of the Adult Education and Family Literacy Month. We had a luncheon. You were there at the luncheon, as was our Board of Education members. We
Right.
had the mayor was there, obviously, along with our district attorney, Judge
Mhm.
Covert.
District
the list-
attorney is gonna be there.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
looked up yesterday
Yeah.
at the Macon violence prevention thing.
And she was
DA
there.
was
Yeah.
sitting
Yeah.
right
Howard.
up there,
Gary Howard.
yeah,
Yeah.
presenting her programs. and
It was
stuff.
really
She's
exciting.
phenomenal.
She is.
Really,
Jeremy is with that, with
Yeah.
the Macon Violence.
Yeah.
With the
Jeremy Crescent.
Yeah, Jeremy. Great guy.
Mhm.
Great guy.
It was so encouraging and so inspiring to see people of your stature that was there. At that was there
But
because
that's what
what
she
it does,
does.
right?
She's gonna be there.
What
She's
it
gonna be there to
does,
support. That's what
exactly.
she does.
What it does is it demonstrates how important community work is to those individuals. And so when I left that luncheon that day, I was completely inspired,
Wow.
as the executive
Well,
director.
you had someone from the
From the state office, yes.
state
Wow.
office
Yes,
there too.
Carla DeBow, who is
Uh-huh.
the executive director of the Certified Literate Community Program under the auspices of the Technical College System of Georgia. She came down for the event, and I'll mention a little bit about our CLCP, but obviously we want to function as a literacy network that will serve as an umbrella to bring existing organizations together with the work that they are doing from both the public and the private sector, because we know that Macon has some great things that are being done. I mean, you've got United Way, you've got communities in schools, you've got community partnerships, you've got the Mentors Project, and you got the Boys and Girls Club. I mean, I can go on and on with the number of great things that are happening here in Macon. So the purpose of the alliance is to pull everyone together to function as a certified literate community program. I'd like to say we did get that endorsement from the state.
Wow!
So
Congratulations! Congratulations!
So thank you for that. Yeah, we're really really excited about being a CLCP.
That's great. That's great.
And it's awesome that you guys, and I heard you say all the people you pulled in, because I've always said this: a fist is always stronger than a finger.
Oh yeah.
You got all these different entities.
Now that's so true.
But when you pull them all together, like you guys have done, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Go on, go on.
Yeah.
I'm getting excited over here.
Right.
Go on.
All right.
And so the job is the goal is to function as a certified literate community program, because the old adage is that there is am I still on? My screen. Okay, good. The adage is there is strength in numbers. The old adage, or as a community, we're stronger. Together we stand, divided we fall. All those that support. So the idea is to function as a certified literate community program, and that was started. I can't remember the year, but by Governor Zell Miller at the time, under the Technical College System of Georgia. And the idea is to bring business along with education and government together to work as a community. It creates that team approach anytime that you're doing community work.
Right.
Yes.
So
now there are thousands of jobs that are created in our community with each company at least several hundred. And we want to have people who feel confident to walk up there and to meet the requirements for this job, because we know that if someone is able to make their own way, to feel confident to move forward for themselves, it benefits themselves, it benefits their family, and you see an example, the community, the city or county that you're in, the state, the nation, everything grows, everything gets better. And so a part of this, usually people think of a high school diploma or the GED, but that's not all that's involved with this. Tell us what you envision happening as far as our children and the adults that will benefit this community as a result of increased literacy in Maconville.
Okay. Well, more important, and I'm glad you said our children and our adult.
That's right.
Because all too often we forget about the adults.
Yeah.
And we have to keep in mind that the adults are the ones who are responsible for working with the children.
That's right.
And how can they work with the children unless they are prepared themselves?
That's right.
And so that's why the Alliance is going to have a 2-generational approach. We're going to be working with the adults, with their literacy, as well as with the children. Workforce development, providing jobs for those that don't have jobs, having resume building sessions, and all these sorts of things are things that existing organizations are doing, that we are going to, as an alliance, pull together and direct the resources where they are needed. I think that's going to be so important, but it cannot be done unless we do it as a community. I think that we will have far-reaching impact if we did this work as a community. The most important thing, I think, from all of this is that we're going to improve the quality of life in Macon Bibb, thus reducing crime, reducing poverty, reducing the dropout rate, and so forth.
Childhood pregnancy.
Childhood pregnancy, you can add that to the
That's
list.
right.
Yeah. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
all
right.
of that.
Right.
All of that.
And
together.
we need people to understand this has nothing to do with whether or not you're smart or whether or not you can read or whether or not you can write. Because we do realize that people can read and they can write. You can read and write and still not be literate.
That's right.
You follow,
because you don't quite understand.
Right.
Don't quite understand. We have some political folks who they say they can read and write, but they're not quite understanding.
Understanding, right?
Not quite understanding.
Right.
So,
because when you think about literacy, I mean, you think about you go.
Or to say, if you can't holler, say amen. If you can't say amen, just wave your hand.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. You've got digital literacy. You know, every day that people uses, they use a computer. That's digital literacy. You know, being informed as how to use it. You've got that media literacy, visual literacy. I mean, the list goes on. But no matter how far we stretch the definition of literacy, we do know that you have got to have the foundational skill of being able to read in order to do that.
I just am very excited about this whole possibility. And when it was presented to us on the commission, it was just a no-brainer that this was something to support and to invest in. And I'm just so pleased that this is going to be a thing where a lot of folks work together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're excited about our upcoming, and again, we're working with various organizations. We'll be partnering with various organizations. We've already been in touch with many of the heads. We're in the process now of assembling our full board of directors that will consist of many of those heads from other organizations or people who are involved with it. And then we will be using the services of Carl Vinson Institute of Government
over
at the University of Georgia.
Okay.
At the University of Georgia, Carl Vinson. And they're going to come down and do some strategic planning with us, but we want to do it as a community. We, having our partners be a part of it. And the whole purpose of the planning is to take a deeper dive into the needs of the Macon Bibb community, to set some targets and then put a plan in place to address those targets that are going to help us fight illiteracy and Macon Bibb.
Awesome. The one thing that I want people to think about is the fact that they have knowledge and skills, and you touched on that, and you did as well, that this has nothing to do with your intelligence. It has nothing to do. It has to do with you being able to understand and to fit and to utilize the information that's available to you.
That's perfect. That's a perfect way to describe it. To make them aware of the resources that are available, helping you to take advantage of those resources so that you don't have to be sometimes in the positions that we're in.
Right.
And you notice I said we.
We.
I'm of the people.
Right. I got you.
Yes. And there are people who have not been formally trained in things.
Right.
But somehow they end up doing it just so well. And they never think in terms of being literate in that particular area. They just say, I picked it up. But there's a certain amount of learning and acceptance and all of that in what you do. And so this whole thing is just so great because it will allow for better esteem in folks. They will understand what they already know, and then look at more learning.
Right.
It's not
Right.
just I'm too old now
Right.
to do
Right.
this, that, or
Right.
the other. We've got to get away from that whole thing. You learn throughout your
Lifelong.
That's
lifetime.
right.
If
Lifelong.
you're not a
Right.
lifelong learner, then I mean you're
Right.
shortchanging
That's right.
yourself. So this just means so much to me, and I was very happy to support it, and the other commissioners were as well,
We're
and
excited
we'll
about that.
continue to, because this builds our community.
Right.
That's
I
awesome.
always say books in the ballot,
That's right.
That's right.
books in the
That's right.
ballot, books in the ballot. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share with us that we absolutely need to know? And then we're going to go to you and have you to share what we absolutely need to know from your
Yeah,
experience.
I just want to, just to say thank you to the community for one, embracing the idea of the alliance, the Making Meals Literacy Alliance. I think initially people thought that it was a program that was being designed to come and give some of the same services that are being given.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
our goal is to establish a network of all of the wonderful resources and services that are being provided now,
Okay.
and to see the individuals who are affiliated with these organizations be excited about
Mhm.
joining forces
Mhm.
to address the bigger problem that we have in Macon as it relates to literacy
Right.
is so encouraging.
Right.
So if they take nothing else away from this, take the fact that this is not a program that's trying to replace or put in place something that's not there with the program that's existing,
Mhm.
but rather to bring all of these programs together
Mhm.
under one roof, at some point, to address the community as a organization, as a
Yeah.
community
Right.
rather,
All
and
stronger
right, right,
together.
following some strategic objectives or targets that we've established, and following a plan that we as a
Mhm.
community put together
Mhm.
to address it. And I can
Awesome.
assure you, we'll have a much more thriving
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
community.
Mhm.
Yes,
There are
sir.
things
Awesome.
that are needed in the East Macon that we're
Yeah.
unaware of in West Macon, where there might be a service in East Macon that's not being provided in
Right.
West Macon.
That's
So
right.
when you bring those resources together, then
Then you
we
see
address the
what's
entire
needed.
community.
Yeah, yeah.
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 Speaking of
So
literacy and knowing what's going on, at 5 p.m. tomorrow, this is your political literacy. 5 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, Pastor Richard Robinson and the Eastside Ministers will be sponsoring a candidate forum. It is tomorrow at 5 at New Pleasant Grove, 5 o'clock. Candidates will be there to meet and to greet you. It gives you an opportunity to meet some of these folks who are going to be future officials if you
Wow.
go
Mhm.
vote, that is. And the other thing, the Evangelical Ministers Alliance is sponsoring um, over on Johnson Farm on Anthony Road.
Okay.
On Saturday, they will be sponsoring a candidate forum, a candidate meet and greet. They'll have food, they'll have water, drinks, all kinds of stuff over there. But this is another opportunity. There are various headquarters, the Stacey Abrams headquarters, the coordinated campaign headquarters. All of these campaigns are in Macon because Macon has a large number
Mhm.
of votes. And it would be a shame for Maconites to not turn out
That's
and
right.
That's
vote.
right.
That's right.
That's
So
right.
there's no
Please.
excuse. There's no excuse.
Please.
The other thing, on Sunday, so 1 to 5, only at the Pine Avenue
Mhm.
Board of Elections, souls to the polls. So your minister should be contacting you, or that sister or brother in the church that contacts everybody to take up the money.
Mhm.
They're going to be contacting you about getting you to go vote. And there will be caravans
Mm.
going to the Board of Elections, souls to the polls,
Okay.
to save all of our lives. So Pastor Lisa said on Saturday that they'll give away groceries and serve hot dogs on Saturday, October 22nd, 12 noon. 12 noon, EMA. The other thing that's going on Saturday, there will be the official dedication of a portion of Houston Avenue in honor of Pastor Edwin Mack
Oh,
of
okay.
Unionville
I'm at.
Baptist Church. And we will be there to pay tribute to him. We took action on that as a commission. And so we will be dedicating a portion. We also took action on dedicating a portion of Anthony Road in honor of the late Mr. Robert L. Scott. Worldwide,
Yeah.
well-known
Everybody.
band director.
Right.
And so those are some of the things that are going to be going on. And then, of course, at 6, the NAACP Freedom Fund banquet. If you say that there is nothing to do in Macon, I just don't know what's wrong with you. There's so much going on. You just need to take part in it. Just take part in it. Now, Mr. Dio Oliver is going to give us his final words of wisdom, what he'd like you to know and to take with you for the rest of the week.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on this show.
It's our pleasure to have you both.
I just looked at the clock.
An
hour is gone already.
Yeah, the time just goes.
I was like, oh man. So yeah, that went by fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure meeting you. I just met him, and I have this thing I call my spider sense. Some people call it intuition. Some people call it all kinds of other things. But I just met this young man. Great guy, great spirit. He's enthusiastic about what he's doing because a lot of times we get jobs and it's just a job.
Yeah, it's just that shit.
You know what I mean? But this, he has it. I mean, I just met him, but it seems that he has a passion for what he's doing. And when you're passionate about something, you do it even better.
You do it. That's right.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
You're passionate, you do it better.
Exactly.
So, but thank you so much. Again, my company is Quick Kill Pest Services. I want to thank Macon and Middle Georgia for supporting me. You have fed me and my family for years. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Taking care of us.
Yes, man. I really appreciate it.
You've helped out a lot of people.
Yes. So I really appreciate again, this show is awesome. And thank you so much.
Look, he's going to include his information, and so is Mr. Montgomery, and so that you can make contact. If you're interested in additional information or whatever, please. Before we go, and I know our time is just about run out, but we want to express our condolences to Dr. Anissa Jones and her family and the loss of her sister, wonderful young lady who was the mother of 5.
Great young lady.
And she unfortunately lost her battle. And this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month too, and she lost her battle. We are praying for that family. And let me tell you this, I was telling y'all about my sciatic nerve pain that I was having in my leg. I went to Dr. Jones yesterday, Dr. Anissa Jones. She is a chiropractor. I'm going to tell you, that girl has my leg feeling so much better.
She awesome.
The senator didn't have to massage and carry on and help me to get up and roll out and all of that stuff this morning. I got up a little hopping, but hey,
Anissa is awesome.
Dr. Anissa Jones took care. She has a beautiful office that she's designing, putting together down next to Vibes, where Marshall Talley water board candidate is.
That's a working woman too, ain't she?
Yeah, she
is.
Hey, she had a bunch of us in there, and she was taking us through all of this stuff. And she just has all kinds of
awesome.
Stuff. But I'm telling you, I felt so much better, and today I'm so much better. I'm going back Friday.
Right, that's right.
And then I'm going back again next Tuesday and get some more of that adjustments and whatever else. But anyway, I feel better. So
do you mind if I
chiropractic is one of those things. She's a good one. And we express sympathy to her family, though, in the loss of her relative.
Just quickly want to thank Dr. Henry Ficklin, Dr. Lori Rogers, Dr. Cleveland Johnson. They're members of the board of directors, and they have been so supportive as well. They really have.
We're not finished with this. these two guests, if you've enjoyed them like I have, let us know. And I'm going to have them back. And we're going to talk some more about as we make progress with these different things.
Right.
And you're involved in other kinds of community.
Right.
Even we're going to have them back. Y'all, we've got 2.5 more weeks of early voting. You got 3 places you can go and vote early. I voted today, and it didn't take me long at all. I didn't even need my sample ballot, but if you need it, you can take it with you. And then when you finish, fold it up, put it back in your pocket or whatever. It is your material. It is your stuff. And nobody should bother you when you're exercising your right to vote. Take advantage of it, please. And we will see you in the next few days or on the weekend at some of these different events that are going on to secure your right to vote, because some folks want to take it away.
Vote,
Thank
vote,
you,
vote.
gentlemen,
Thank you.
so
Thank
much
you
for
so
being
much.
here
Yeah.
on Ask Elaine. And thanks all of you for tuning in today. And we'll see you again next Wednesday, 3 p.m. here on WDDO for another edition of Ask Elaine.
All right.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Making and